It's funny you should ask that, Renee. I'm actually ritually washing my hands. Ritual washing is the tradition's way to cleanse ourselves in the morning and before we eat a meal. Come and take a look at how it's done. It's very easy to ritually wash. All you need is some kind of vessel that holds enough water, about 7 to 10 ounces of water to be specific, and you can even use something as simple as a measuring cup to figure that out. You then pour over your right hand once, pour over your left hand once, pour over your right hand a second time, your left hand a second time, and then finally a third time on the right, a third time on the left. You then raise your hands and recite the following blessing: Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim, the raising of the hands. And you do not recite Amen to your own blessing. And then you can take a paper towel and clean yourself off, and then you're prepared to either enter a meal, or in this case, sometimes when you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you do. Now, how does this relate to this week's Parsha? Okay. This week's Parsha is a double portion, Tazria-Metzora, and its focus is about the impurities and the purities of the human body. When one becomes impure, they're meant to cleanse themselves in water. One can go to a mikveh and actually immerse into the water, or in the case that I just showed you now, one can wash their hands and recite a blessing. In the times of the temple, it was easy. We'd use sacrifices as a way to spiritually cleanse ourselves as well as physically cleanse ourselves. Without the temple, though, we live in a constant state of impurity in the world. I could wash my hands 100 times a day and still I would be impure because the temple doesn't exist. But let's think about this more spiritually. Purity, impurity, these things are concepts that frighten us, that confuse us, that we may not agree with, and that's okay. I want to focus on the actual washing. What does it take to wash one's hands and recite a blessing in the morning? 30 seconds, 1 minute, and it's in that time that we experience the pureness of the tradition, the pureness in our connection to God, as if the temple still stood today. And we take that from Tazria-Metzora because that is the first time in the Torah where ritual hand washing takes place. For each of us to get a moment or several moments, whether it's just washing your hands, reciting the blessing or not, but taking that time to reflect about spiritual purity and actually feeling from the inside a connectedness to God. I pray and hope for each of us that this Shabbat, when we read Tazria-Metzora, that we get that opportunity to connect with God and feel pure on the inside and out. Shabbat Shalom.